Om Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. It's indeed a great privilege and pleasure to speak on Sri Ma Sarada Devi as an incarnation of the Divine Mother Sri Durga on the auspicious occasion of Navratri, also known as Durga Puja celebrations in Bengal. The worship of the Divine Mother is one of the oldest forms of worship known to humanity. Everywhere in the world, God as the Mother is worshipped because the creative power of the universe, the feeling that a child has for its mother as soon as it is born, as soon as the child or anything is created in nature, it runs to the mother for sustenance and protection. So, Goddess Durga was worshipped even in the ancient period of Rig Veda, maybe 5000 years ago. In the Rig Veda, it is said, the famous verse which says, I take refuge in her, the goddess Durga, having the color of fire, blazing with tapas or austerity, who, when pleased, bestows the fruit of karma. O Savior, take us beyond all difficulties. My salutations to thee. Then we find later in the Taittiriya Aranyaka, we have the famous Durga Suktam. A Vedic sage pays praise to Durga, the Divine Mother, in the following words. I take refuge in her, the goddess Durga, who is fiery in her looks and radiant in form, who is the power belonging to the Supreme, who manifests himself or herself in manifold ways, who is the power residing in all actions and their fruits, rendering them efficacious. O Goddess, you are the great Savior. You help us in our difficulties. Our salutations to you. So this is the essence of Durga Sukta. Durga literally, if you see, it means the incomprehensible one, because we can't comprehend the Divine Mother with our ordinary intellect. She is beyond the powers of the Divine Mother, the workings of the Divine Mother, the divine play that she enacts is beyond the comprehension of even the most intelligent of people. We depict her as a 10-handed martial deity, full of vigor, full of strength, fully armed with a lot of celestial weapons. Durga is Vijaya. She is also known as Vijaya, the goddess of victory, and it is symbolic of destroying the evil forces that are in the world. That is why in the Chandi, the goddess herself says, whenever there arises any obstacle from the demons or evil forces, I shall incarnate in this way with the 10 hands to destroy the enemies. Now coming to the Holy Mother, Sri Sarada Devi, she can be thought of in comparison as Divine Mother Durga herself, but in her Satvika aspect. Because we have in Prakriti creation the three gunas, the Satvika guna, the Rajasic guna, and the Tamasic guna. So all are creations of the Divine Mother or Prakriti herself. But certain aspects, certain gunas are conducive to certain types of activities. If the activities are at the causal level or at the subtle level, not at the gross level. In the gross level, perhaps you need rajasic or tamasic uh, activity to fight against the gross demons, because the more grosser you go in creation, the more of tamas or rajas is manifested. But in the sattvika aspect, the Divine Mother is constantly engaged in fighting all the obstacles, not the gross obstacles like demons or evil forces, but in the Sattvika aspect, the Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi appears to be fighting all obstacles to the spiritual regeneration of mankind in this materialistic age. This age is materialistic. People are doubting the very existence of the spirit. And we need sattvic power to overcome or to fight all the obstacles which result in wrong thinking, wrong attachment to the materialistic values, the consumeristic attitude, which is eating the vitals of society. So the question may be asked, why did the martial deity, as Durga appears with 10 hands and with so many weapons, appear without her celestial weapons in this incarnation as the benign Sharada? Sarada Devi, if you see, she could not even hurt an insect. She could not even beat a cat. So she was so full of sattva. So if we read the biography of Sri Ma Sarada Devi written by Swami Gambhirananda, he has tried to answer this question in his own unique way. He writes, and I quote from his book, he writes regarding the birth of the Holy Mother, that the conflict which we see on the psychological plane in the modern age is even more devastating than the old mythological war between gods and demons. The Asuras and Devas fought with each other. But now on the psychological plane, there are more serious issues, very subtle issues. The evil that is in the hearts of men has to be removed. Then he continues, he says, above everything else, the present day world needs moral progress and spiritual enlightenment. Not so much of destruction, physical destruction of the demons. That is perhaps not the need of the day. The incarnate divine power is therefore engaged in fighting internal enemies of mankind. What are these internal enemies? Like lust, greed, jealousy, fanaticism, and so on. That's why we see it's not just that Sri Ma Sarada Devi, the Holy Mother, is an incarnation of Sri Durga, but even in Sri Ramakrishna, we know when Sri Ramakrishna passed away, Holy Mother uh, started crying, "Oh Ma Kali, where have you gone? Where have you gone? Leaving me alone." So we see that in a way, the Divine Mother incarnated as the twin personalities, as the twin souls of Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna and the Holy Mother Sarada Devi for the good of humanity. We see she carried out Sri Ramakrishna's divine mission on this earth for nearly 34 years after his own passing away. Before his passing away, he once called Sri Ma Sarada Devi and told her that, how much work shall I do? You have to do much more. I am living. He gave a hint that he was about to finish his divine leela or drama, and she had to do much more. Then Holy Mother made a remark, what shall I do? I am just a mere woman. In those days, women's empowerment was unheard of. Even the gross empowerment, which leads to mental empowerment and also to spiritual empowerment of women, that was unheard of. So Holy Mother said, what, as a woman, what can I do? Sri Ramakrishna said, no, 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 you have to do much more. And she showed that she carried forward Sri Ramakrishna's divine mission on this earth for more than 34 years after his passing away. So Durga Puja, if you see, Durga Puja and Durga Puja celebrations and so many events figure very prominently both in the life of Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi and also prominently in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna's life is full of remarkable incidents which took place during Durga Puja. We'll just mention a few instances. Swami Sardananji writes that on days auspicious to a particular deity, the characteristics of that deity, that particular deity, would naturally become manifest in the person of Sri Ramakrishna. If he was thinking of Sri Krishna, if he was meditating on Sri Krishna, some kirtan was going on, he would manifest the qualities of Sri Krishna, that particular deity. So also we saw on Durga Puja days, the characteristics of the Divine Mother would manifest spontaneously in Thakur when he sat motionless in Samadhi. Sometimes his hands would assume the gestures of Kali. There are various poses where Kali is offering a boon and protection against all fears. So also in the iconography of Durga, we see so many, all the 10 hands uh, held in different positions, in different protective gestures which the Divine Mother is making. So on the occasion of Durga Puja, Sri Ramakrishna himself transformed, and some of the characteristics of Ma Durga were seen in him. Like Durga, we see, like Sri Durga, he granted boons and showered his grace on Durga Puja days. Some incidents which, though Swami Sardananji meticulously tried to avoid miracles, but there were certain incidents which happened which are very close to miracles, and he could not avoid mentioning that. Some such instances in Thakur's life where he showed the divine spirit of Durga manifesting in himself are can be found in the biography, The Great Master, written by Swami Sardananji. In 1868 AD, that is Sri Ramakrishna's nephew Hriday suddenly decided to celebrate the Durga Puja in his house and requested his uncle Sri Ramakrishna to be present there. But Sri Ramakrishna said, I am not able to attend, but he consoled him. And he said, why are you pained? In my subtle body I shall daily go and see your worship. But nobody except you will see me. Now this is recorded. Hriday conducted the Durga Puja because Sri Ramakrishna could not go there in his home village. So he, as directed by Sri Ramakrishna, made all arrangements, and on the 7th and the succeeding days of the 10-day Durga Puja festival, the 7th, 8th, Ashtami, Navami and Dasera, Hriday saw Sri Ramakrishna in a luminous body, standing in ecstasy, beside the image during the adoration of the Devi during Aarti, the waving of lights. Afterwards, Hriday described this experience to Thakur. When he met Thakur again, when he came back, he said, I saw these things. Then Thakur agreed with him and confirmed and said, at the time of Aarti and the juncture worship, juncture means Sandhi Puja. It is known as at a particular juncture, between Saptami and Ashtami, and this puja is done. So and during the Sandhi Puja, I felt a great yearning to see your worship. And I went into ecstasy. Sitting here in Dakshineshwar, he went into ecstasy and felt that I went along a path of light and was present in your worship hall in a luminous body. So this is one incident which we see in the life of Hriday. Also, we can, if we recollect, there was one more incident where during one Durga Puja celebration, Mathur Babu became like a child. He was so attached to the image of Durga that he had arranged for worship. Durga is normally worshipped in an image which is then immersed in the water river on Vijayadashmi day, the final day. So he bluntly refused. He became so much attached that he bluntly refused to allow anybody to take the image. They said, no, this is the procedure. We have to immerse the image on the 10th day. So Sri Ramakrishna was approached. They could not convince him. He was in such a bad mood. And when Sri Ramakrishna came, he saw that Mathur is not going to listen. But as soon as he saw Thakur, Mathur came crying to him and then said, let them say whatever they like, father. He used to call him as Baba, father. I cannot bid goodbye to mother before I breathe my last. Whatever happens, till I die, I shall keep worshipping this image. I can't allow this image. He was in a very ecstatic mood. I have told them that I shall perform a daily worship. So you don't worry. How can I do without mother? Then Sri Ramakrishna found it, passed his hand over Mathur's heart, which acted, which act, this particular act of just passing his hand over Mathur's heart brought a wonderful spiritual transformation in Mathur Babu. Thakur then told him, "Oh, is this your fear that your mother will go away from you? But who says that you will not be without your mother? Moreover, where will she go even if the ceremony of immersion is done? Can a mother afford to be away from her child? Is it ever possible? Where will mother go? Sitting in the outer hall, she accepted your worship these 3 days. You worshipped her on Saptami, Ashtami, Navami. Now she will be nearer to you. She will be sitting in your heart and accept your worship there. So it doesn't really matter if you allow this image to be immersed. But due to the wonderful touch of Sri Ramakrishna, Mathur Babu's mind underwent a transformation. He was very adamant that he will not allow the image to be immersed. Swami Sarvasthananda writes that Mathur probably saw the form of the Divine Mother existing in the core of his heart, illumining it with an effulgence never known before. He must have seen some kind of divine light within, as a result of which we saw that his keenness to retain the image, the gross image, diminished, and then the gross was replaced by the subtle, and the subtle by the causal, and the wonderful spirit that shone in the heart made him agree to immerse the image. So there is one more occasion when Surendranath Mitra, for some reason, there was some death in the family, and they had stopped Durga Puja, thinking that it is because of some reason that Ma Durga is displeased and they should not do puja. So they had stopped. But suddenly Surendranath Mitra felt that he should start Durga Puja again, and all were opposing. But somehow, with Thakur's blessings, Thakur said, "Don't worry, you can start." On the auspicious 8th day of Ashtami, Durga Ashtami, Sri Ramakrishna was in the company of his devotees in Dakshineshwar. He was not in Suren Mitra's house. The puja was going on independently there. Sri Ramakrishna was in the company of his devotees in Dakshineshwar, suddenly entered into Samadhi at the time of the Sandhi Puja. When the Sandhi Puja was going on, simultaneously Sandhi Puja takes place all over the world. I mean, at least all over India. After half an hour, Thakur's Samadhi came to an end and he told the devotees, "I saw that there opened a luminous path from here to Surendra's house." He saw a vision where he saw a luminous path was opened from Dakshineshwar to Surendra's house in Kolkata. I saw further that attracted by Surendra's devotion, the mother had appeared in the image and that a ray of light was coming out of her third eye. I also saw that rows of lamps were lighted in the front veranda, and Surendra was sitting and weeping piteously in the courtyard in front of the mother. Then he said, "Go you all together to his house now." Naren and all were sitting there. He said, "Go to his house. He will be very happy to. I cannot go, but you can go there, and he will feel comforted uh, because he is in a very ecstatic mood." So Sri Ramakrishna was simultaneously present there in Suren's house. He could see, and all the devotees, including Narendra, then went to Surendra's house and found out from him that Sri Ramakrishna's vision was true in every detail. Whatever he saw had actually taken place in Suren's house. He had wept and he was sitting weeping piteous. So sitting in Dakshineshwar, he could this incident shows that Sri Ramakrishna was an embodiment of Mother Durga. The divine spirit was, as it were, enlivened in the image. And Suren's devotion, because of Suren's devotion, Sri Ramakrishna could see that the Divine Mother is blessing him. Divine Mother Durga is blessing him. So just as Mother Durga appeared in the image at Surendra's house, Thakur also appeared there, as it were, and saw the whole puja in his subtle body. He had the capacity. We also see a wonderful event. Now coming to Holy Mother, we also see a wonderful event prior to the birth of the Holy Mother Sarada Devi, which shows her as Divine Mother Durga incarnate. Mother Durga, there is a saying, they believe that Durga normally dwells in the Bilwa tree. It's a favorite tree where Mother Durga is supposed to reside. That is what Indians believe, which is a symbol, and this Bilwa tree is a symbol of the Sushumna canal in the spine. We have the Sushumna canal, the hollow between the two Ida and Pingala, from where the Kundalini rises. So the Bilwa tree is supposed to be the Sushumna canal, and Mother forces the Kundalini to rise, and the path of Kundalini is in that tree. So that is what people believe, and the Bilwa tree is supposed to be very holy, and those who meditate under that get realization very quickly. Even Sri Ramakrishna did sadhana under the Bilwa tree. But here, once Shama Sundari Devi, the mother of Sharda Devi, was sitting in the dark, beside a potter's oven. A potter was there below the Bilwa tree in the village of Shihor. Suddenly she heard a jingling sound from the direction of the oven, as if somebody is wearing anklets. Some jingling was going on. And suddenly she saw a girl coming down from the branches of that Bilwa tree. She laid her soft hands around Shama Sundari's, Sri Ma Sarada Devi's mother's neck, and then she fell down unconscious. She had no idea how long she was lying in that state. Her relatives came searching for her, and then they carried her home. On regaining consciousness, she felt as though the little Durga, the little girl, perhaps Durga, had entered her womb. The Divine Mother herself had entered her womb. So this perhaps indicates that Sri Ma Sarada Devi is Durga herself, who had descended from the Bilwa tree. This is what we can judge or guess from this incident. Swamiji once said, "Brother," he told his brother disciples, "I shall demonstrate the worship of the living Durga, and then shall my name be true. Brother, I tell you, I am a fanatic in this matter. Of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, you may assert that he was a god or a man or a saint or whatever you like, but fie on him who is not devoted to the mother." So Sri Ramakrishna believed that it was to the Divine Mother's role and the divine drama of Sri Ramakrishna was very important. She would be the center around which the women would be empowered in the truly spiritual way. In 1901, that is why he wanted to establish the living Durga. So there is an incident in 1901 when Swami Vivekananda saw in a vision that Mother Durga was worshipped at Belur Math. A few days before the Durga Puja in 1901, there was no plan to perform Durga Puja. But Swami Brahmananda was sitting on the bank of the Ganges at Belur Math. Suddenly saw a 10-armed form of Mother Durga walking on the surface of the Ganges, walking towards the monastery grounds. A moment later, Swamiji also arrived by boat, came to Brahmananda and said, Raja Maharaj was his name, Raja, make arrangements at once for the worship of Mother Durga. Then they learnt of each other's vision, which tallied, of the Durga walking on the surface of the Ganges towards the monastery ground. Since then, there was some hesitation whether Durga Puja should be done. But since both of them got that vision, Durga Puja is performed every year at Belur Math. This was the beginning. This was the first Durga Puja. And Holy Mother was present throughout the festival, which was conducted according to scriptural injunctions. The mother was very pleased with the way the puja was conducted and returned to her residence at Bagh Bazaar, where she was staying after blessing the monks. Of course, Udbodhan house was not there at that time, but Bagh Bajar, she was staying somewhere. Sri Sharda Devi said later about this first Durga Puja at Belur Math. Something strange happened. Naren was very particular that the puja should be done meticulously. Then she writes, Holy Mother says, Naren took me to Belur Math at the time of the first Durga Puja festival, and he gave me, he gave through Holy Mother, he gave 25 rupees to the priest as his fee. They spent 14,000 rupees, which was a huge amount on that occasion. The place became crowded with people. The monks worked hard because it was decided the last minute that the puja would be done. But they wanted to do everything according to the Shastras, according to very meticulously. And Naren came and told the Holy Mother and said, Mother, please make me lie down with fever. The moment he said that, no sooner had he said, he was down with a severe attack of fever. Then Holy Mother thought, goodness gracious, what is this? How will he be cured? Why did he ask for such a thing? Don't be anxious, mother, said Naren. Naren just tried to console her, saying, don't be anxious. I have myself begged for this fever. And then he gave the reason, a strange reason why he asked Holy Mother to give him fever. He said, these boys are working very, very hard, the monastics, the brahmacharis and all. But if I see a slight mistake, see the slightest of mistakes, I shall fly into a rage and accuse them and scold them. I may even give them a few slaps. It will be painful to them as well as to me to punish them in that way. Therefore, I thought it would be better to lie down with fever for some time and let them do their work. So after the day's function was over, everything went on smoothly, of course, by the grace of the Divine Mother and Holy Mother. Holy Mother says, I came to him and said, dear child, the work is over now. Please get up. And suddenly Naren said that he was all right and got up from the bed. So this also shows that the Divine Mother manifested herself as the living Durga. Thus Swamiji did as he had promised when he said to his brother, I shall demonstrate the worship of the living Durga. So with Holy Mother as the center, he wanted the idea of worshipping God, worshipping women as the manifestations of the Divine Mother, the idea to be spread all over the world. He said, it is said in the scriptures that the worship of Durga, especially the Durga Puja, must be performed meticulously. Otherwise, one will incur the wrath of the spirited deity. You can't be casual when we worship. It has to be done very meticulously. Hence, we see Swamiji was so much concerned for perfection in the worship of Mother Durga. Sharda Devi, the Holy Mother, also attended Durga Puja at Belur Math after Swamiji's passing away, of course, for the second time in October 1912. As soon as the ceremonial awakening, the Bodhan of the deity finished on the 6th lunar day, Mother's carriage was seen at the gate of Belur Math, as if she has just come. The ceremonial awakening is done on the 6th day. So when it is done, exactly at the same, when the ceremony was going on, Mother came. And the monks and devotees led by Premananda ran up at once, unharnessed the horses. They were so full of joy seeing this coincidence and drew the carriage into the courtyard. The mother then looked around with beaming eyes and said, everything is ready. Wonderful, tip top. It is as though we ourselves have come attired like the goddess Durga. This is a rare moment of self-revelation where Mother says that I feel as if I'm myself, we have come attired as Durga incarnate, Goddess Durga. So this has come out of Holy Mother's own mouth. The Holy Mother had special love and regard for Belur Math. The monks always considered that Belur Math came into existence by the blessings of the Divine Mother and not just by the efforts of Swamiji or anybody else. Because she had prayed when she saw the Gaya monastery where Buddhist monks were living. She said, Oh Thakur, will you not arrange for a monastery for these uh, young wandering monks. And that's why they were also aware that the Divine Mother had herself taken the human form as Ma Sarada Devi. Hence, they could not consider the Durga Puja at the Mutt a success unless the Divine Mother in her human form, as long as she was alive, they tried their best to invite her, and till she came in human form to the monastery to accept the puja personally, they were not happy. So at the beginning of Durga Puja, every Durga Puja, even today, Sri Ma Sarada Devi's name is ceremoniously announced by the priest as the beneficiary of the celebrations. And even to this day, the custom is being followed. The Yajamana, she is the beneficiary for this worship. So when the Holy Mother came to the place of worship, the monks offered at her feet handfuls of flowers as they did before the deity. They were literally worshipped her, and they didn't consider their worship complete without offering flowers at the feet of the Holy Mother. And during the celebration, they kept their eyes fixed on her face, and if she smiled, they thought that Goddess Durga had accepted their worship. If she was pleased, definitely they would be convinced that the Divine Mother Durga is also pleased by their worship. The Bengali Ramayana, there are many Ramayanas. The Bengali Ramayana of Kriti, uh, Kritivasa's Ramayana is another version of Ramayana. There is a story where Rama worships the Divine Mother Durga with 108 blue lotuses, Rameshwaram. When one lotus was found short, 107 were there. Sri Rama was ready to pluck his own lotus eye, as they say, and complete the worship. He was about to remove his eye when Durga appeared, and but of course was ready to pluck out to complete the worship, which pleased the Mother Durga, and she blessed him profusely for the war that would ensue. Swami Brahmananda was not to be outdone. Swami Brahmananda also found himself in a similar situation. He worshipped the feet of Holy Mother Sharda Devi exactly in the same way as Rama had done, the living Durga, and he somehow procured 108 full-blown lotuses on the second day of the worship. The third Durga Puja, which Holy Mother attended, was celebrated at Belur Math between the 3rd and the 6th of October 1916. Regarding this event, Swami Shivananda Mahapurush Maharaj has written, owing to the presence of the Blessed Holy Mother, it was altogether a direct worship and not merely worship of the goddess in an image. And something strange happened. Though there was continuous rain and storm on all the 3 days, yet by the Mother's grace, no part of the celebration suffered. And it even happened that just as the devotees sat for taking prasad, the rain stopped. All were surprised to see this. Afterwards, it was learned from Yogin Ma that whenever devotees sat for prasad and rain seemed to be imminent, the mother sat down to make the japa of Durga's name, and she intensely prayed, "Dear me, how can so many people sit down to eat in this rain? Their leaf plates and everything will be washed away. Oh Mother, please save us." And the rain would not come. And Mother Durga indeed saw to it that the rain would not come. Then all the 3 days this particular thing happened. And after the Sandhi Puja was over, Swami Shardananda was so pleased that he said to a brahmachari, "Go and offer this gold coin to the Holy Mother or to the mother and salute her." The brahmachari was surprised. He didn't know, he was not very sure whom he is asking me to go and offer the gold coin. Maybe it is the Divine Mother's image. I should go there and offer. He thought that the offering was to be made to the goddess Durga. All the same, he asked the Swami, who replied, who told him, "Mother Sri Sharda Devi is there in that garden. Go and offer the gold coin at her feet and salute her. It is she who is being worshipped here." The Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi manifested herself as Durga by coming down the Bilwa tree just before her birth. Similarly, during her lifetime, she was literally worshipped as Mother Durga by so many of her disciples and the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna and Sri Ramakrishna himself worshipped her as Shodashi. Therefore, it is no wonder that she manifested herself as the very image of Durga even at the time of her Mahasamadhi. In his biography of the Holy Mother, Swami Tapasyanji writes that describes the last moments of the Holy Mother, and I quote, and I shall conclude my talk. He describes the last moments of Holy Mother on earth as follows. He says, just before her passing away, her face and body became dark and shriveled. But to the astonishment of all, a great change took place after her life was extinct. Her shriveled form, she was sick and very pale, and her body had become, but the shriveled form was found to relax, and her face swelled up and assumed a radiant golden hue. The countenance, her face seemed to resemble the face of the image of the goddess Durga used in worship, mellow and golden in color. So this is how they found. And we shall find as it happened before her birth, the divine spirit, the divine mother Durga manifested herself in the uh, in the physical frame of Sri Ma Sarada Devi, who manifest her sattvic aspect of Ma Durga and came for the spiritual welfare, for the spiritual empowerment, not only of women, for the entire world. Thank you. I take this opportunity to thank Revered Swami Sumanasanandji Maharaj for this opportunity to share a few thoughts on this auspicious occasion of Navratri. I hope all of you celebrate the Navratri with great enthusiasm and a spirit of uh, spiritual empowerment, which is the result of performing this puja over a period of 9 days. My prayers to the Divine Mother and our Holy Mother Sri Ma Sarada Devi for success in all the celebrations that you are going to undertake. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.